Imagine for a second that you are driving down a busy highway. You are gripping the steering wheel so tightly, your knuckles are literally white, and you're terrified to even blink.
Oh, yeah. Sounds stressful.
Right. You have absolutely no control over your speed. You're
Oh.
just, bracing for impact. And why? Because someone has glued a heavy brick to the gas pedal. For so many of us, that isn't just a metaphor. I mean, that is exactly what a normal Tuesday morning feels like in our bodies.
It really is. And the biological cost of living that way is just staggering. We wake up, the alarm goes off, and we instantly flood our systems with stress hormones.
Yeah.
It keeps our bodies in this state of perpetual panic until we finally just collapse back into bed at night.
Well, welcome to this deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're looking directly at you, the listener. Because if you feel like you're constantly behind schedule, or if you feel this unending sense of urgency to just keep moving, we need to validate something right out of the gate. Feeling overwhelmed is not a personal failure. It is a completely natural reaction to a modern world that pushes us to operate in a toxic, always-on mode.
The demands on our attention right now are just unprecedented. I mean, we're dealing with chronic time anxiety, or what researchers actually call hurry sickness. We feel like guilty when we rest and frantic when we work.
It's exhausting. And to explore this today, we are pulling insights from a beautifully written guide from Mindful Gym, along with a collection of psychological research that focuses entirely on time urgency. Our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to understand exactly what this constant rushing does to our brains and our bodies. And more importantly, we're going to explore compassionate, science-backed ways to step out of the rush without, dropping the ball on your busy life.
Because you can't just quit everything.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. Before we can fix the rush, we really need to look under the hood. What is literally happening physically inside the body when we are stuck in that hurry mode?
So when we constantly rush, our brain's internal alarm system, which is this small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala, perceives that hurry as a literal threat to our survival.
Wait, really? A literal threat?
Yeah. The brain doesn't know the difference between you running late for a performance review and you running away from a dangerous predator.
Wow.
It just knows you are panicked. So it triggers a fight or flight response, instantly flooding your bloodstream with stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol.
So just because I'm trying to answer 3 emails quickly before a meeting, my body is basically preparing for physical combat.
Right. And the long-term cost of living in combat mode is severe. Over time, this chronic state of stress actually changes the physical structure of your brain.
Oh, wow.
The constant flood of cortisol shrinks the prefrontal cortex, and that is the logic and decision-making center of your brain.
It actually shrinks it.
Literally shrinks it. And at the same time, it expands the amygdala, the fear center. So the more you hurry, the more your brain becomes permanently wired to feel anxious, afraid, and just unable to think clearly.
Okay, but wait, let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
All right.
Shrinking logic center or not, looking at my calendar, I literally have to do 5 things at once.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't rushing and multitasking exactly how we survive a busy day? We live in a highly demanding society. Don't we need to multitask just to keep our heads above water?
It feels that way, right? Society certainly rewards the appearance of being busy. We treat multitasking like this badge of honor, but the science tells a very different, much less flattering story.
Oh.
The human brain cannot actually multitask. It is physically impossible for the brain to process 2 cognitively demanding tasks at the exact same time. Instead, what you're doing is task switching.
Task switching.
Right. Your brain is rapidly bouncing back and forth from one thing to another.
So when I jump from writing a complex report to checking a quick message on my phone, what is physically happening in my head?
Think of it like setting up a complicated board game. Your brain sets up all the cognitive rules for writing a formal report on the table. When you switch to your phone, it has to sweep all those report rules off the table, dig the casual messaging rules out of the box, and set them up.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. That sweeping and setting up takes time and energy. We call it a cognitive bottleneck.
And I'm assuming the transition isn't perfectly clean.
Far from it. What's fascinating here is that Stanford researchers studied this exact phenomenon. They found that this friction of frequent task switching drops your overall productivity by up to 40%.
40%?
Yeah, you aren't getting more done. You are actually getting almost half as much done. And even more alarming, it temporarily lowers your functional IQ by 10 points.
Wait, are you serious? 10 points?
Yes, that is a bigger drop in intelligence than if you lost an entire night of sleep.
That is wild. By trying to do three things at once to, save time, I am making myself 40% less productive and literally less intelligent in that moment.
Exactly. Plus, that messy transition creates something called attention residue.
What's that?
So when you switch back to the report, a piece of your focus is still stuck processing the message you just read. Your attention is fractured. That residue causes mistakes, and it just burns through your brain's energy reserves incredibly fast.
Which honestly perfectly explains that heavy brain fog feeling so many of us get at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, completely.
We haven't just been working, we have been burning fuel, constantly loading and unloading the rules of different tasks.
Right. We just exhaust ourselves trying to outrun our own biology.
So if rushing and task switching are breaking our brains and draining our energy, how do we hit the brakes in the heat of the moment? Like when the panic is rising and we feel that tight chest, what do we actually do?
The very first step requires a total mindset shift. It's simply noticing the rush and silently saying to yourself, I am rushing right now. The Mindful Gym Guide emphasizes that when you notice your distraction, you shouldn't criticize yourself. You should actually celebrate.
Celebrate. Because we usually beat ourselves up when we realize we're distracted or stressing out.
Exactly. But the insight here is that realizing you are distracted is not a failure, it's a massive success. Because for the first time all day, you are awake.
Oh, I love that. Like realizing you're driving down the wrong side of the road.
Yes. Most of the day, we operate on complete autopilot. Think of your brain in that state like a predictive text algorithm on your phone. It's just blindly filling in the next expected action, the next expected worry, without actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
When you notice the tension in your shoulders or the racing of your thoughts, you interrupt the algorithm. You've stepped out of autopilot.
Because awareness brings the power of choice. And once you step out of the algorithm, you can use a practical framework that researchers call the mindful STOP.
By STOP.
Yeah, let's break that down.
So S stands for stop briefly. You don't have to abandon your work. Just pause for 3 seconds to interrupt the frantic momentum.
Just 3 seconds. Okay.
Then T is take a breath. Take a few slow, deep breaths. O is observe. Just notice your body without judgment. Are your hands clenched? Is your jaw tight? What is your breathing like?
Getting out of your head and into your body.
Exactly. And finally, P is proceed. You continue with your day, but now you are proceeding with conscious awareness, not blind panic.
The T in that framework, take a breath, is something we really need to demystify.
Oh, for sure.
Because people here take a deep breath and they roll their eyes, thinking it's just a nice, fluffy psychological trick. But this is actually a profound biological hack, isn't it?
It is pure mechanics. When you take slow breaths, specifically making sure your exhale is longer than your inhale, you stimulate the vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve.
Right. This is a massive communication highway running from your diaphragm all the way up into your brain. Think of the vagus nerve as your body's natural brake pedal.
So going back to the intro, we're taking our foot off the glued gas pedal we talked about, and we are finally pressing the brake.
Yes. By physically pulling your diaphragm down with a deep breath and letting out a long exhale, that vagus nerve sends a direct signal to the brain. It tells the brain to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the body's rest and digest mode.
Wow.
It literally physically lowers your heart rate. It lowers your blood pressure. You are using your lungs to manually override the amygdala's alarm system, telling it, hey, we are safe, turn off the panic.
Okay, the breathing trick works beautifully if I am just feeling a little tense at my desk. But let's be real about the bigger picture of our day.
Sure.
I can take a deep breath, activate my vagus nerve, lower my heart rate, but when I open my eyes, I still have 40 unread emails and my boss is pinging me.
Right, the work doesn't go away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A deep breath doesn't delete my massive to-do list. So how do we keep the panic from returning the second we look at our workload?
Well, this requires a major paradigm shift in how we structure our lives.
Yeah.
We've been taught to focus on time management, like how can we pack more tasks more efficiently into the 24 hours we have, but time is a fixed resource. The sources suggest we need to abandon time management entirely and focus on energy management.
Because it doesn't matter if you magically free up 3 hours in your afternoon. If your brain is completely out of fuel, you'll just stare blankly at the screen.
Exactly. When we look at a huge, overwhelming to-do list, our brain experiences decision fatigue.
Okay.
Every single choice you make, from prioritizing a major project to deciding what to eat for lunch, drains a little bit of your brain's limited energy reserves. When those reserves get low, your prefrontal cortex, that logic center, struggles to function. You become paralyzed, impulsive, and deeply anxious.
And to combat that decision fatigue, there's a framework called the Mindful PDF. It stands for Prioritize, Divide, and Focus. But let's dig into that, because when everything feels like a five-alarm fire, how do you actually prioritize and divide?
Well, prioritizing means brutally asking yourself, what truly matters right now? Not everything is an emergency, even if the adrenaline in your system makes it feel like one.
Yeah, the false urgency.
Right. But the real magic happens in the divide step. When you look at a mountain of work, the anxiety comes from the brain trying to process the entire mountain all at once. It asks, how do I do all of this?
And the brain just freezes because it can't process the mountain.
So you divide the task until the steps are so microscopic that they don't trigger the amygdala's alarm. If you have a huge presentation due, you don't put finish presentation on your list.
Too scary.
Way too scary. You put open the software, then draft the title slide. By breaking massive projects into tiny, manageable actions, you are only ever asking your brain to answer one simple question. What is the next wise step?
What is the next wise step?
Yeah.
Man, that removes so much pressure. And to help with the focus part of that framework, the sources introduce a technique called NOWing.
Yeah, and Wing is incredibly practical for protecting your energy. It is the practice of silently labeling whatever physical activity you are doing in the present moment.
Wait, let me push back on this a little.
Sure.
Silently saying now typing or now drinking tea out loud in my head sounds a bit distracting, if not slightly ridiculous. I mean, doesn't narrating my own life take more mental energy?
It sounds totally counterintuitive, I know, but it actually saves a tremendous amount of energy.
How so?
Well, your brain consumes about 20% of your entire body's energy. When your attention is fractured, like when your body is physically eating lunch, but your mind is mentally arguing with a coworker about tomorrow's meeting, you are burning fuel at an alarming rate.
Oh.
You are projecting energy into a future that doesn't even exist yet.
So the labeling stops the wandering mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nowing acts as a gentle anchor. It forces you into single tasking. By labeling the physical action, it snaps your wandering mind back to exactly where your physical body is.
You're doing one thing, using one stream of energy.
Right. It consolidates your resources, leaving you with far more stamina for the end of the day.
Okay, so NWing stops the mental bleeding. It keeps our energy focused. But surviving a busy day isn't the same as actually enjoying your life.
That's very true.
I mean, I can efficiently single task my way through my emails, and I can take deep breaths, but I still feel like the days just vanish in a blur. How do we stretch the feeling of time so we don't feel like we're constantly running out of it?
That is the ultimate goal. Chronic stress and rushing actually speed up our internal pacemaker. It alters our perception of time, making it feel like life is just slipping away.
Yeah.
But we can actively slow that perception down. The research introduces this concept of time affluence, the feeling of being rich in time.
And how do we generate this time affluence when we are legitimately, objectively busy?
Through the AWE method. Experiencing simple, everyday moments of awe. A stands for attention. Give your undivided attention to something beautiful or valuable. W stands for waiting. Intentionally pause to take it in.
Okay.
And E stands for exhaling and expanding. Just let the feeling grow.
And this doesn't mean you have to book a trip to the Grand Canyon. I mean, it can be ordinary, everyday awe. Just noticing the way the sunlight filters through the leaves of a tree on your walk to work. Or even feeling the texture and warmth of a coffee mug in your hands.
Yes. When you induce even a tiny moment of awe, it forcefully grounds you in the present. People who practice this report a significant expansion in their perception of time. They feel less impatient. Life stops feeling like this frantic race to the finish line.
You know, I think this brings up a crucial misconception we need to clear up.
What's that?
When we talk about slowing down or not being in a hurry, people often assume we mean moving like a turtle, like losing your edge. But that isn't it at all. I like to think of a brilliant surgeon in an operating room.
Oh, that's a great example.
During a critical moment in surgery, that surgeon's hands are moving incredibly fast. They are highly productive, making rapid, life-saving decisions, but they are not frantic. They are completely, deeply present with the patient.
Right. The opposite of hurry is not slowness.
The opposite of hurry is presence. You can be fast, you can be highly effective, but you are entirely rooted in what you are doing right now.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it leads us to a very old, very profound piece of wisdom from the writer Leo Tolstoy.
Oh, I love this part.
He asked 3 fundamental questions about how to live a good life. What is the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what is the most important thing to do?
And the answers just strip away all the complicated noise of modern life.
They really do.
The most important time. It is now. Because the past is gone and the future doesn't exist yet. The most important person, the one you are with right now, not the person you were arguing with in your head this morning.
Exactly.
And the most important thing to do, to care. Care for that person, care for yourself, care for the moment you are in.
Beautiful.
This has been such a grounding deep dive. We have covered a massive amount of ground. So let's synthesize the three main messages we want you, the listener, to walk away with today.
Sounds good.
First, rushing is not just a bad attitude or a personality quirk. It is a biological state of alarm. It floods your body with stress chemicals, shrinks your logic center, and ruins your focus through the friction of task switching.
Second, you are not helpless against this alarm system. You can short-circuit it using simple physical tools. You can use the mindful S.P framework to engage your vagus nerve and hit your body's natural brake pedal.
Yeah?
And you can practice energy management using the single-tasking habit of now-you-inhibiting to stop your mind from burning unnecessary fuel.
And third, the opposite of being in a hurry isn't moving slowly. It is being deeply present. You can be a highly productive, busy person without being a frantic, stressed-out person.
Absolutely.
To help you put this into practice, we have a challenge for you today. Just try two small things. First, the next time you walk somewhere, whether it's to your car or just down the hall, just walk 5% slower. Just a tiny adjustment. Use that extra second to notice the physical world around you.
And second, if you feel that familiar tide of panic rising in your chest, I want you to remember a simple mantra. Silently say to yourself, somewhere to go, something to do, but not in a hurry.
Somewhere to go, something to do, but not in a hurry. I am literally going to write that on a sticky note for my computer monitor.
It is a powerful reminder. And I want to leave you with one final new thought to reflect on today.
Please do.
Consider how much of our modern world is quite literally built on the monetization of your hurry. Entire industries, from fast food to one-click delivery to the constant feed of news, rely on you staying in a state of chronic time panic.
Wow. Yeah.
They profit from your impatience. So by simply slowing down, by choosing to manage your energy and stay present, you aren't just saving your brain's logic center. You are actively rebelling against an economy that profits from your exhaustion.
That is a phenomenal realization. Choosing presence is an act of quiet rebellion. You don't have to live your life bracing for impact. You can reach down, unstick that brick from the gas pedal, and finally enjoy the drive. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Take a deep breath, find a little awe today, and we will catch you next time.